In the previous episode, Isaiah delivered his first oracles to a prosperous but corrupt Jerusalem. He announced God's lawsuit against his people, sang the devastating Song of the Vineyard, revealing that Judah had produced only wild grapes, and pronounced woe after woe upon those who crushed the poor while maintaining religious rituals. Now, as the shadow of Assyria lengthens across the region, Isaiah will face his greatest political confrontation yet. The year is approximately 735 before the Common Era. King Ahaz of Judah is young, inexperienced, and terrified. News has reached Jerusalem that two kingdoms have formed an alliance against him. To the north, King Rezin of Syria and King Pekah of Israel have joined forces. Their armies are marching south. The reason for the alliance is Assyria. The great empire is expanding. Its armies devour kingdoms one by one. The only hope for survival, Rezin and Pekah believe, is a coalition of smaller kingdoms standing together. But Judah has refused to join. Ahaz will not commit his small nation to a war against the most powerful military force in the world. So Rezin and Pekah have decided to force the issue. They will march on Jerusalem, overthrow Ahaz, and install a puppet king who will join their coalition. The report reaches the palace. Syria has allied with Israel. The armies are mobilizing. They are coming. The heart of Ahaz shook, and the heart of his people shook, as the trees of the forest shake before the wind. This is not a metaphor for mild concern. This is panic. The king and his entire court are trembling. They can already imagine the siege towers rising against Jerusalem's walls, the battering rams smashing through the gates, the soldiers pouring into the streets. In this moment of crisis, God speaks to Isaiah. Go and meet Ahaz. The prophet is given specific instructions. He is to take his son with him, a boy with a strange prophetic name, Shear-Jashub, which means a remnant shall return. The name itself is a message, a hint of both destruction and hope. Isaiah finds the king at the end of the conduit of the upper pool, on the highway to the washer's field. Why is Ahaz there? Because he is inspecting Jerusalem's water supply. In a siege, water determines survival. The king is already calculating how long the city can hold out. Isaiah approaches and delivers his message. Be careful, be quiet, do not fear, and do not let your heart be faint because of these two smoldering stumps of firebrands. The language is deliberately dismissive. Rezin and Pekah, the two kings who have shaken Ahaz to his core, are nothing but smoldering stumps, burned-out torches. Their fire is already dying. Because Syria, with Rezin at its head, and Israel, with Pekah at its head, have devised evil against you, saying, "Let us go up against Judah and terrify it, and let us conquer it for ourselves, and set up a puppet king over it." Isaiah names their plan exactly. He knows what they intend. He knows the puppet they have chosen to replace Ahaz. Then he delivers God's verdict. It shall not stand, and it shall not come to pass. The invasion will fail. The coalition will crumble. The puppet will never sit on David's throne. But there is a condition. If you are not firm in faith, you will not be firm at all. Everything depends on whether Ahaz will trust God or trust his own calculations. Faith is not a feeling. It is a decision to stand still when every instinct screams to run. God does something extraordinary. Through Isaiah, he offers Isaiah a blank check. Ask a sign of the Lord your God. Let it be deep as Sheol or high as heaven. Any sign, anywhere, no limits. If Isaiah wants proof that God will protect Jerusalem, he can name his own terms. A miracle in the depths of the underworld, a wonder in the heights of the sky. Anything. This is unprecedented. God is not simply promising deliverance. He is inviting Isaiah to test him, to demand evidence, to see divine power displayed on whatever scale the king chooses. Isaiah refuses. I will not ask, and I will not put the Lord to the test. The words sound pious. They echo the ancient command not to test God as Israel did in the wilderness. Ahaz appears to be showing religious respect. But Isaiah sees through the pretense. The king has already made his decision. He does not want a sign from God because he does not intend to rely on God. He has another plan. Ahaz is going to appeal to Assyria. Rather than trust the God of his fathers to protect Jerusalem from two minor kingdoms, Ahaz will invite the great empire itself to intervene. He will strip the temple of its gold and silver and send tribute to the Assyrian king, begging for military assistance. He will solve one problem by creating a far greater one. Isaiah's patience breaks. Hear then, O house of David, is it too little for you to weary men, that you weary my God also? The prophet is no longer speaking to Isaiah as an advisor to a king. He is addressing the entire royal dynasty, and his voice carries the weight of centuries. You have exhausted human patience. Now you are exhausting divine patience. And then, despite the king's refusal, God gives a sign anyway. Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, the virgin shall conceive, and bear a son, and shall call his name Immanuel. The name means God with us. He shall eat curds and honey when he knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good. For before the boy knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land whose two kings you dread will be deserted. The sign is not what Ahaz expected. A child will be born. By the time that child is old enough to know right from wrong, perhaps 2 or 3 years, the two kings threatening Jerusalem will be gone. Their lands will be empty. The immediate crisis will have passed. Curds and honey are the food of devastation, what people eat when agriculture has collapsed and only wild foods remain. The child will grow up in a land that has been through catastrophe. But the sign has another dimension. The Lord will bring upon you and upon your people and upon your father's house such days as have not come since the day that Ephraim departed from Judah, the king of Assyria. The solution Ahaz has chosen will become the problem. Yes, Assyria will destroy Syria and Israel, but Assyria will not stop there. The empire Ahaz has invited to the region will become Judah's tormentor for generations. Isaiah sees what is coming. In that day, the Lord will whistle for the fly that is at the end of the streams of Egypt, and for the bee that is in the land of Assyria. And they will all come and settle in the steep ravines, and in the clefts of the rocks, and on all the thorn bushes, and on all the pastures. The great powers will swarm over the land like insects. Judah will become a battlefield for empires. In that day, the Lord will shave with a razor that is hired beyond the river, with the king of Assyria, the head and the hair of the feet, and it will sweep away the beard also. The razor is Assyria. God will use the empire as an instrument of judgment. The shaving signifies humiliation and loss. Everything Judah values will be stripped away. In that day, a man will keep alive a young cow and 2 sheep. And because of the abundance of milk that they give, he will eat curds. For everyone who is left in the land will eat curds and honey. The population will be so reduced that survivors will live off whatever their few remaining animals can provide. The farmland will return to wilderness. In that day, every place where there used to be 1,000 vines worth 1,000 shekels of silver will become briars and thorns. The valuable vineyards will be abandoned. Thorns will grow where grapes once ripened. Isaiah gives his son another prophetic name. He writes it on a large tablet for witnesses, Maher-Shalal-Hash-Baz. The name means, the spoil speeds, the prey hastens. Another message of coming destruction. And Isaiah speaks of his own role. Bind up the testimony, seal the teaching among my disciples. I will wait for the Lord, who is hiding his face from the house of Jacob, and I will hope in him. God is withdrawing. The judgment is certain, but Isaiah will wait. He will teach a small group of disciples who will carry the truth through the coming darkness. Behold, I and the children whom the Lord has given me are signs and portents in Israel. Isaiah and his strangely named sons are living prophets